Yo,
Yo, what's up, dude? How you doing?
there we go, dude. It's good. It's like okay, now we've got we've got two Americans, so you're now gonna hear the word "dude" like 1,000 times by the end of this call.
Nice.
Uh, how's it going?
It's going good. It's a bit hectic for me right now because I'm preparing to move out tomorrow out of my apartment.
Oh man, okay.
So, packing and cleaning and all that fun
And
stuff.
then still getting into this call.
Oh, hell yeah, man. I can't miss this.
Oh my gosh. Okay, well, let's do you want to introduce yourself and then talk about how you got into what you're doing and where you're at, stuff you're processing, all that jazz.
Sure. Yeah. So, I've been into games and making art basically forever. I first got into 3D in I think 2016 or something, but I wasn't really active back then. But in the past, I would say 3, maybe 5 years, I've slowly started to practice more and really wanted to get more into doing game development stuff. And I'm currently a second year or gonna be a third year student, and I'm studying art, game design stuff
Mm-hmm.
up here in Finland. And I also have a small game company that I started with my friend. We're not making a whole lot of money just yet, but we're getting there slowly. So I guess indie games is what I'm really more interested in, but I also do like AAA stuff. So I guess AAA is sort of plan B for me right
Mm.
now.
Dude, I just realized that you're in Finland. I read it as Tampa, and then I was like, oh, okay, yeah,
Oh,
Tampa. Cool, cool.
nice. Almost,
Anyways,
almost there.
oh, is it? That's like, oh, it's Sweden, Switzerland. Yeah, yeah, same. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Anywho,
exactly.
so okay,
Yeah.
so you're man, so you've just been in it for a while, just kind of
Uh,
getting
yeah,
into the 3D side of things.
yeah. Slowly but surely, I would say.
Um, and specifically, it looks like you're focusing on materials, at least like material execution on assets.
Oh yeah, I got into Substance Painter. I think it was last year, and I've been having so much fun just learning it.
Mm,
It's so different to just like applying textures in Blender, and it kind of blew my mind because I had never really done uh, high quality texturing like that before.
right.
So that's what I've been up to lately a lot.
So maybe I miss it because my brain got so fixated on the fact that you're in Finland, um, or that you're
Yeah.
that you're from Finland. Is it right now? It looks like you're really focused on this material pass. Is there like a is the goal to be environment or props centric or
Environment,
environment? Okay.
environments for sure. I've been doing props lately, but I do have a problem of just uh, having a bad attention span. I can't really stay on one project for too long,
That's pretty
which
normal.
is something I really have to work on.
That's pretty
Yeah.
normal for artists. I don't know. I'm not sure why, but I don't know.
Oh yeah, me neither.
Maybe we're all super
Maybe it's just
neurodivergent.
yeah, undiagnosed ADHD or something.
Um, but yeah, it's. I guess we can. Is there a specific piece that you want to look at, and kind of talk over? Because we have the bunker that is a work in progress, and then we have your the rusty jerry can. Those two
Uh,
really stand out by comparison of your other
yeah,
stuff.
those are the ones that I'm most happy with for sure. The other stuff,
Hmm.
that's sort of like in the process of learning things.
Right.
Uh, Especially that substance designer thing, that was just a tutorial thing, but I wanted to include it because I just want to show that I, at least on some level, know substance designer. I
Right.
actually do have a link. I have a Google Drive with some work in progress stuff that I'll link you,
Oh, cool.
but
Yeah,
it's
we
not
can look
really
at that right after.
portfolio worthy.
We
Yeah.
can look at that right after we go through your portfolio. Is that stuff more of a? Is that stuff that's happening right now? So it's just stuff that's not on your
Some of it
portfolio
is,
because it's
yeah, it's more recent stuff.
mm,
More recent stuff, I would say, mostly.
cool. Okay, so I agree with having the material in your portfolio, just to like,
Okay.
because you're showing that you've tried it, you're exploring it, and it's to a quality where like you can tell that you're learning it, but you learned from a, oh, this is great as well that you link the tutorial that you kind of went through. Um, I guess when you look at materials or just any asset, I always look at the texture maps. I probably sound like a broken record with that stuff, but I always look at
Yeah.
like how people's materials read on like per channel, and just to understand like how they're perceiving roughness and like what their albedos look like and how their normals and how their height maps read. Like these two stones here blending together. I guess that just shows me that you haven't figured
Mm.
out how to separate all of them fully.
Yeah, I actually tried hiding that in the renders as much as I could.
Yeah. I mean, you don't see it in the render. That's good.
Yeah, I, I succeeded in something at least.
Oh, apparently Chuck was one of Vince's students from like
Oh,
back
nice.
whenever. Yeah. Um, but yeah, I think it's fine that it's in here and you're kind of you're going through the process of stuff. Is this hammer looks like you were looking at the tutorial on Artstation from Jason Ord.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
actually that one I did check that one out, and that really is what kickstarted my painter learning. It's
Right.
such a good tutorial.
Yeah, it's really good for understanding how you push roughness and like surface
Yeah.
read.
I also I think I rewatched it for the Jerry can that I made.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess you were using very
It's
similar techniques uh, with the roughness, like how you read all the surface detail.
mm, yeah.
Is there? Let me go to this environment because I want to look at this one. So this one you're saying is a work in progress. It's a bunker. Um,
Uh
is there? What's the? Oh,
yeah,
this is a
the
Unity as
the
well. Cool.
bunker. Yeah.
How are
I
you?
started that
Oh yeah,
was
go ahead. Go
last
ahead.
summer, and I just completely abandoned that project.
Yeah. So
I haven't worked on it since at all.
it is okay to abandon a project and just say YOLO. It's whatever. you can just you can just stop and it's fine. No one will judge you for that stuff. I mean, generally speaking, if you removed work in progress off of this, we would just
Mm.
like I would assume that it was done, and like there's just elements that are missing, like that could be pushed further,
Well,
right?
yeah, yeah. I guess that's a good point.
Because usually I would say, like if you don't have a pro account or a plus account and you can't do the blog feature, to just have your own blog or somewhere where you can post work in progress content, and
Right.
that can be like the place where you store that type of information because like the the ArtStation portfolio should be where you show like your current skill set, right? And it kind of goes the same with tutorials, but
Yeah, yeah,
I think later down the road is when you would start to remove that type of stuff. But
yeah, yeah, yeah.
overall, I mean, the scene was looking pretty good. Like the mood is all there, and it's more about like how do you make this scene look complete. Like the walls are starting to read really
Mm.
well. There's a wall on the left here that is making me try and figure out what the surface is. This just kind of shows that the roughness is in a spot that I'm not sure of. Like, is that supposed to be paint? Is the paint like I don't? Well, I guess I'll ask you. Is that supposed to be paint?
Uh, I don't even know, honestly. I don't even
Yeah.
remember if I had proper references for the wall materials because this was, I think, a bit before I made all those props, I think. So I wasn't that good with texturing just yet. And I'm still not great at it,
Mm-hmm.
especially when it comes to creating my own tiling textures. Like you can see, the Substance Designer thing is just a tutorial. But yeah, I don't, it is a work in progress, so
Okay.
it
Yeah.
has a bunch of little things like that.
Yeah. Those will be the things that I would say. Make sure you focus on those as you go
Yeah.
forward. So like, let's say that the paint isn't damaged, and let's say that it's paint, right? There's still going to be
Mm.
a lot of roughness variation inside of the paint itself, and then when it chips
Oh yeah.
away, it would show like the roughness variation of the material under it, which I guess is the concrete. So it's just thinking about those layers as you
Yeah,
go.
yeah.
But it looks like you're playing a bit with some modularity as well with the whole ventilation system set up above, and then you've got like the pipes as well.
Oh yeah, I'm actually like very interested in modular environments as well because I've done some modding stuff for Fallout 4 and Skyrim, and I really enjoy building environments from modular kits. So that's something I really want to do more as well. And it's also something that you can maybe kind of see in the Google Drive that I linked.
Right. Yeah, we'll make sure to look at that here shortly. But yeah, it's just I just wanted to recognize it because I can see that there's logic that's being put into place that's also like if it's modular, it becomes much more robust. Like you can have this setup kind of happening wherever you need it to happen.
Yeah.
It's the same with the pipes and like being able to lead the eye with those types of details. So you're decorating the walls in a way where it helps like make the like barren or empty walls look interesting. One
Mm.
thing I would say with pipes to watch out for, I know this is a year old, so just something to keep in mind is make sure that your pipes make as few turns as possible to get to where they're needing to go, because the more turns you have, the more costly it would be in real life. So a lot of the times
Oh yeah.
to um, they only make a turn to basically get to the place they're supposed to get to. Like if they could, they wouldn't have
Right.
it go through the wall at all. They would just go directly to the source. But something made them
Yeah.
go around.
That's actually a good point because I don't think I've ever even thought about that. I just want cool looking pipes. I don't think
Yeah,
about how they
I
work.
totally get it, man. Like you have a blast door here as well.
Yeah.
It looks like, which is really interesting.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I really wanted to add some stuff on the floor and make some like tire marks or add other props around it to make it look like it's used for something at least. So
it
it's a
is
bit
a. I
weird
mean,
like right now.
when I look at the walls leading up to the ceiling, that to me looks like
Mm.
it's pretty close to done, or like that, like a good solid pass before polish. And then the details, taking those details to the ground without becoming too busy is like what you're talking about. Maybe there's like one of those
Oh
pipes are
yeah.
leaking and you get a little bit of the puddle in one spot that gives you cool reflections or just wetness on the ground. And then the tire
Yeah,
marks that you're talking about.
mm. Yeah, I think when I stopped working on this environment, like stuff that I wanted to add next was the floor things like debris and props and piles of trash and all that stuff.
Mm. Yeah, and I mean, you can add those details without it becoming too busy. It's like
Yeah.
I would say the scene is about 80% there. And then
Mm.
it's like you add those little details on the ground, and then it's that last 5% of polishing it, and then you're golden. But let's jump to the jerry can, because I think I even remember
Yeah,
reviewing this.
I did. Yeah, I did link this on the Discord critiques once, I think.
Yeah, this one's really nice because you can tell you're just thinking about like material interaction and age,
Mm.
like aging of surfaces, which is the best place to be in when you're just trying to make materials just look interesting and logical. I love that you are animating stuff. Like animating a light rotating around an object is much more. Sometimes you see objects rotating, and I think
Yeah.
that's relatively okay, but you can't really appreciate the subtleties of the surface when you can't focus on them, you know? And the fact
Yeah,
that the
I actually
object is
do
still.
remember. I do
Okay.
remember you talking about this exact point in some portfolio review, and I got inspired by that
Oh,
actually.
nice. All right, cool. We
Yeah.
didn't even need this review then. Let's just like this.
Yeah.
We're good to go. I do
I'm
remember
taking
commenting on
notes.
the wireframe. I was like, oh yeah, you
Oh
just need
yeah.
to like clean it up a little bit.
Maybe a little, yeah.
Maybe a little bit of cleanup would help, because
Yeah.
you can probably cut that in half or even lower and not actually
Mm.
see a difference.
Yeah. It's funny. I also posted this on the Blender subreddit and included the wireframe, and I got roasted so bad there. It was so funny.
Oh man, yeah, roasting. Isn't roasting
Yeah.
fun?
Yeah. I'm into that. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I mean the surfaces on this look really nice though. Like you're getting variation even in the fact that it's like one material. And then
Mm.
you see the rust and that has its own subtleties inside of it. SWAT's wondering if we're talking about roast beef. Roast beef is very good. Um, but not nearly as like damning as getting roasted in a forum. But yeah, I think the only material wise, maybe the only thing I would change is trying to find something that wouldn't get painted, just so that you get
Mm.
like an exposed metal, like maybe the lid or like the bracket that isn't textured painted, like it's rusted, but it's just like it's more metal than paint.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I also, oh nice, Jackson here, dude, this guy's awesome. Um, what resolution is the asset? You mean the texture res? That's a good question. This looks like it's 4K.
Ooh. I think these are 4K, yeah, for the renders.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
I'm
could
pretty
probably
sure.
just
Yeah.
put that somewhere in here. Um, usually I would say 4K for a jerry can is a little overkill, right? but but I think you
Yeah.
were exploring materials and understanding materials. As long as it's clear in that, yeah, it's practice texturing. Um, you could just you could express that that's why it's going to be so high res, is because you're just focusing on material definition
Mm.
and understanding how your materials are interacting with each other. Just trying to get all that detail that you can out of it. Um, cool. Maybe we should look at the drive link that you sent me. I'm gonna open it on another window really fast here,
All right.
and then how am I gonna do this? How can I have problems figuring out where I'm going to? I have a huge monitor. Why is this an issue? Um, okay, let's. Okay, yeah. Oh wow, my storage is like maxing out. Uh, cool. Let's. You're just gonna see the offers they're giving me to. Oh, this is bright. Cool. Let's take a look at these. So we've got boxes, wireframe, and then we've got like a character and then a sky shader timeline. So you're building a sky as well?
Yeah, that's Sky Shader. That's not 3D at all, actually. That's for a mobile game that I've been working on with my friend, and
Oh,
it's a shader that I made for the game's background, basically.
dude, that's cool. Okay. Are we going into these other folders as well?
Yeah, the first one has stuff from. It has environment stuff from a game project that we did at school this spring,
Okay. So I'll look at
and then
these
the
boxes then, and then
yeah.
we'll jump in there. Unless you want to like get some feedback on this stuff. Let's see what we're looking at first. It's like, yeah. So looks like pretty standard wireframes. It's not. Maybe there's a little bit of optimization that could happen, but I mean
Mm.
they're pretty low poly, so that should be fine.
I tried to keep it better than the jerry can at least.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think you made these in ZBrush,
Yeah, no,
or
not
or
really.
uh, or Blender with some voxelization. Materials on this look pretty nice, especially like the is this one on the left plastic?
Yeah.
Because it feel like with the edge wear, it feels a
Mm.
little bit like it might be metal.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's true.
I think if that edge wear was just a more clean version of the plastic color, it would probably
Mm.
read like damage to the plastic.
Gotcha. Yeah, yeah.
But I mean, these look. It's funny because they don't look like holy cow, these are amazing. They look like what they're supposed to look like. Maybe they're a little high res. I don't know, but
I don't actually remember if
yeah,
these were 2K or 4K. Probably 2K.
they look like they might be 2K. But yeah, it's always thinking like when you're thinking in materials, think as physical as possible. So like
Mm.
what I was saying with the plastic is just exposing more of the plastic. Unless it was coated in some paint, which I don't think they would do. But those
Yeah.
those look good. I would say if you were putting these in your portfolio, you definitely would want to show like the texture flats. Um, when we look at the character here, the character is interesting, kind of terrifying.
Yeah, that was uh yeah, I linked the original concept in the Artstation link.
Oh yeah,
What I made this from. It was a bit experimental, I think. I just wanted to go crazy with some sculpting and try something a bit different.
no, that is cool. Yeah, it's funny because when you go this route, like you start making a character, um, it's like, oh yeah, no, it's a character, but it's got environments attached to it, so that's gonna make it a little easier. Um, but
Yeah.
you run into the problem where you still have to be able to achieve a character, right?
Mm,
And I think that's
yeah.
probably where the biggest weakness is with it. Is this like just a basic texture pass, or is this like because it feels very simple right now? Maybe that's the goal.
It is very simple. Yeah. It was just a few minutes in Substance Painter. I
Mm.
really rushed through this, which is why I didn't make it a proper portfolio piece. But I just wanted to put it here to, I guess, like show the diversity and how
Mm.
how many different things I want to do, which may or may not be a good thing for me.
Yeah, I mean, you already heard my spiel on like expanding too wide. I guess is the how
Yeah,
do I
yeah.
am I able to play this? Let's see if this works. I don't make sure. I don't know if there's music on it. Oh, dude, this is cool. Oh yeah, dude, this is rad. I don't know how the camera's supposed to frame as the character's moving. Does the camera stay in one spot, or does the camera zoom in and
Uh,
kind of follow the character? Is that the idea?
it it follows the character, yeah, and it's a bit more zoomed in.
Okay, because that'll definitely change the way you perceive the. Because I was gonna say it's weird that the sun's so centered, but if the character
Yeah,
is kind of progressing, you'll have the sun slowly panning past you, depending on like time of day, or anything like that. Or if you're controlling time, I don't know. I don't know the extent of the game, but it's
it's
yeah.
basically just a platformer.
Okay. It's interesting that the moon curves or like goes around, but the sun is in one spot.
Yeah, I think we just basically stole that idea from another mobile game,
Mm,
Alto's Adventure. I think it does a very similar thing, which with its sky.
right. And the little wispy lines are those aren't shooting stars, right? Those are
That's
like
wind.
wind.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So those are probably just a bit bright. I don't know if you're the one that has control over that. And maybe it's
Yeah,
not
they
as
are a bit
distracting
bright. Yeah,
because you would probably want those wisps
it
that
is a
have like
bit
a nighttime
distracting.
vision as well.
Yeah, it's a bit also distracting because it's a time lapse, so it's sped up from
Mm.
what it is normally.
Yeah, so maybe it doesn't
But
doesn't pop out as much as it does there. Oh man, okay. What's going on here? So these environments, dude, are these ones you?
yeah, I made m most of the things here in the environments. There's some texturing and a couple assets that are not mine, but for the most
Right.
part, it's me.
Let me just click through these. That already is like, are you propping the scenes as well?
Yeah, I built all the levels.
Okay, dude, this is definitely a step up from your previous stuff. Is it what engine is this in?
It's Unity
It's
again.
Unity as well. Man, it's
Yeah.
cool to see that you're pushing through Unity because everyone is like looking at Unreal.
Yeah, we use Unity at school, and it's also the engine that we've made. Like
Mm,
I've worked on personal projects with before because it's easier to make indie games with Unity than Unreal, at least for me and a
right.
lot of people I know. So it's just the engine of choice
Oh,
for
that's
me.
awesome. Yeah, I've heard that like if you're going into the nitty gritty of it, it's easier to work with just because you're customizing everything or editing all the things that you need to edit. It's not locked behind
Mm,
stuff or in weird places.
yeah, I've tried Unreal a few times, and it's not easy.
Mm. I mean, this is really cool. Um, these scenes already are pushing something that like you're not seeing in the rest of your portfolio.
Mm.
So that's definitely worth mentioning. That this just looks it just looks better than your previous stuff. There's a lot of like
Okay.
details that are pushing more into like the storytelling and the space feeling a little bit more um, like realized, I guess. That I'm
Mm.
seeing the pipes again, and I'm wondering like, okay, in the room next door, imagine that they needed to pipe something out of the room into this room, but then they needed to pipe it back in to the same room later. I don't know if that's what's happening there, but
Yeah, me neither. It's
it's like
just
I wonder if
my
that's gonna
funky
turn into
pipe
my
setups.
it's gonna turn into one of my small tangents I always bring up. Is like, oh yeah,
Mm.
what are you piping through? Is it
Yeah,
water or it just needs to cool
I
off in
gotta
the
put
other room?
some. I gotta put some lore behind these pipes.
So Vince is saying that the point light volume looks a bit odd. Oh yeah, I mean, so
Yeah.
definitely. That's just a matter of like, do you guys have like tube lights or like box lights in Unity?
I don't think there are tube lights. I think we have area lights for
Area lights? Okay.
larger lighting, but I don't remember. I think they had some issues with shadows or global illumination or something. I'm not sure.
Right. Yeah, so these would be something where it's like you definitely need to be using like an area light to like match the
Yeah.
width of the light. And then just making sure that where it starts is kind of closer to the tube. And the tubes are probably going to be the brightest thing in the shot, right? If we think about how exposure
Yeah,
works
yeah.
and whatnot. Oh, area lights need to be baked, is what Vince is thinking, if he remembers correctly.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah, that explains it then. Because we didn't want to bake lights
Right.
for the game because we had quite a big level and we were lazy.
It happens.
Yeah.
I think you might be able to. What I was hearing from Amit yesterday on our other portfolio review stream is like you should be able to place a light that's not visible if you need to go with a wider like fog volume. But I have
Mm,
almost no experience with Unity at this point. I switched over from it a while back.
yeah.
But this is looking great. Watch out for laser lines and repetitive details, like the tiles being removed. I would only keep maybe a few of them, and then
Mm,
like
right.
laser lines are like these like sharp, super sharp edges. Just get some extra geo in there to kind of like break up those edges. And think about like if this is a doorway, think about
Mm,
the transition between rooms and like what happens to the floor. Think about what what the material is on the wall, and if there's supposed to be like a pattern, like maybe half the wall is painted blue or something, and then the rest is like the concrete or just those types of details to help you ground the location you're at and the logic of the space. It gives you more things for the viewer to kind of understand that they're what they're looking at, and not question so many things. Like they get more immersed because they're not questioning stuff.
yeah, yeah. I gotcha. Yeah.
We're actually
I do definitely want to work on storytelling a
yeah.
lot more.
Are these hands your hands? Whose hands are these?
Uh, I guess I used my hands as reference a little bit, but
Okay.
I wanted to include this because I was just pretty happy with how they turned out. I haven't really. This was my first time texturing realistic skin, and it
Oh,
turned out
interesting.
pretty decent for what it is,
I don't think I've
I think.
done any of that stuff. Yeah,
Mm.
generally for first hands, these look pretty good. They're also rigged and they're animated as well, I assume.
Yeah, I did the rigging. I didn't do any of the animation work, but um, I did basically everything else.
Right.
And we just needed some first person hands for the game, so I just had to make some.
Nice. That's like Resident Evil. The most recent Resident Evil, they just scanned like one of the guys at the studio. They just scanned one of their hands and they're like, "Cool, these are the hands." Uh, like There we go. It's done. Um,
Nice.
is there a so we're kind of up on our time, but is there anything that like
Mm.
any questions you might have on what we've talked about or questions you may have from like previously?
Uh, Um, I don't know if anything comes to mind. I really wanted to get some feedback on the new environment stuff for sure, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm happy to hear that it's a step up from what I have in my portfolio, because I am doubting myself a little bit on those because I see a lot of improvements that still could be made with those environments.
Right.
Um, but I guess just like I'm interested in knowing how my overall sense of artistic direction in these like all the renders and everything is, because I'm interested in doing art direction stuff more,
Right.
and that would be a cool thing to get into.
Okay. Well, let's. So this, I'll talk about this last shot, and then we'll move to the next portfolio. Then, so
Yeah.
we've got laser lines here, right? But if you're talking about art direction
Mm.
a little bit more, think about where we want the player to go. If you're in this space, we see two lights, and it feels kind of like a dead end. Have a different
Yeah.
colored light, maybe above the doorway, and that's the door we're heading towards. So it's just like you're leading the player always, and anywhere that there's an
Mm.
opportunity to have like color variation, do it. Like because you can always dial things back if it's too busy. If there's too many colors, you can dial it back. But I see there's like these details of something that looks maybe a little bit orange or red, and if that color was more
Yeah.
present, the other thing too is to think about the color of the lights. The warmer, more yellow they are, the more they're going to pull color out of everything. Anything that they touch and make
Mm.
yellow, they're just basically removing all of the color from those objects,
Right. Yeah.
just because of how that works with that specific temperature. But yeah, it's think about where we're heading and resolution of shadows. If there's ways to turn that up, hard edges, sharp lines, and think about signage as well. If this is like a train tunnel, eventually there's going to be some text on the wall that kind of lets you know where you're at or what tunnel you're in for maintenance.
Mm.
Those types of things will help ground it even further. But yeah, cool. Yeah, if you have other questions though, just poke me. I mean, you're pretty
Sure
active in the
thing. Yeah.
server and on stream, so just let me know if you
Yeah.
have other questions.
All right. I really appreciate you doing this. It's awesome to get some proper feedback on things, and the whole community has also been super helpful with like helping me learn this stuff. So
Awesome.
big thanks to you and everyone else.
Dude, thanks for being part of it.
Yeah, no worries.
Okay, I will jump to the next call. I hopefully that person's
Sure thing.
still around, and I'll see you on the server or in
Yeah.
chat. All right, dude.
Yep. See ya.
Bye.